If someone told you you'd never have to deal with those big, scary syringes ever again, no more sitting in a lab for hours, waiting for results. Instead, all it would take is a tiny prick on your finger, just one single drop of blood. And from that one drop, doctors could test for over 200 different diseases. Everything from high cholesterol to cancer, detected in the blink of an eye. Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, it wasn't a movie. This actually happened. Back in 2003, a 19-year-old woman stepped onto the scene in Silicon Valley. Before long, people were treating her like a new kind of god. She became the world's youngest self-made female billionaire. Her face was on the cover of every major magazine, and she had hundreds of millions of dollars pouring into her pockets. The world thought we were witnessing a medical revolution. Her name was Elizabeth Holmes. But behind the fame, Elizabeth Holmes was hiding one of the biggest, most dangerous frauds in history. Today we're diving into the dark side of Elizabeth Holmes and her company, Theranos. Elizabeth was born on February 3, 1984, in Washington, D.C. When she was little, someone asked her what she wanted to be when she grew up. Her answer? "I want to be a billionaire." At just 9 years old, she wrote a letter to her father saying, "I want to discover something new, something that mankind didn't know was possible." When she got into Stanford to study chemical engineering, she already had the big idea that would change her life. Elizabeth was actually terrified of needles, and that fear made her wonder one tiny drop. In 2003, at age 19, she dropped out of Stanford. She took her tuition money and started a company called Theranos, a mix of the words therapy and diagnostic, the Edison. Elizabeth realized pretty quickly that in Silicon Valley, you don't just need a good idea, you need a brand. She started modeling herself as like Steve Jobs. She wore a black turtleneck every day. She claimed she worked 7 days a week and never took vacations. She even changed the way she spoke, lowering her voice to a deep, masculine baritone to sound more authoritative and powerful. It worked. Psychologists call this authority bias. If people figured if this young woman was speaking with such a deep, serious voice, she might be geniuses. She started surrounding herself with some of the most powerful people in America. Her supporters was U.S. politics, from former secretaries of state to the legendary Henry Kissinger. Even Joe Biden, who was vice president at the time, visited her lab and gave her glowing praise. With names like that behind her, investors were hooked. Theranos started raising billions. Theranos claimed their Edison machine was a miracle. Huge pharmacy chains like Walgreens signed deals to put these machines in their stores. Regularly, you're perfectly healthy, or you're totally fine, but they tell you that you have a life-threatening disease. When employees saw the machines failing, they couldn't speak up. Elizabeth and her partner, Sunny Balwani, ruled the company through fear. But as the saying goes, every empire eventually falls. The first crack in the wall came from a journalist named John Carreyrou. He was an investigative reporter for the Wall Street Journal. John started talking to internal whistleblowers in secret. One of them was Tyler Schultz, the grandson of one of Elizabeth's own board members. Tyler risked everything to expose the truth about what was happening in that lab. In October 2015, John Carreyrou published a bombshell article in the Wall Street Journal. The world was stunned. Elizabeth went on TV and tried to brush it off as an attack from an old hater, but it was too late. The FBI and the FDA raided the labs. The dark reality of the Theranos fraud was finally out in the open. In 2018, Theranos officially shut down. A company once valued at $9 billion became worth zero overnight. Elizabeth Holmes and Sunny Balwani were charged with wire fraud and conspiracy. In 2022, the former billionaire was sentenced to 11 years in prison. The golden girl of Silicon Valley is now behind bars. It stands as one of the biggest investment scams in American history. In Silicon Valley, there's a popular saying, "Fake it till you make it." But when it comes to people's lives and healthcare, that policy doesn't work. It never works. What did you think of today's story? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.